Hi there, how are you? Welcome to my channel. I'm super happy and super excited today as I'm going to be doing a very interesting video, and this video is very close to my heart, as all are anyway. So today I'm going to be speaking about 10 things you should know when you're going to write your first book. As some of you might know, it's around 3 months since I launched my very first book called Let's Make Lemonade, and I'm thinking there's so many people out there who are my age or even older than me who've always wanted to write a book, but they've never known how they would go about doing that. And for me, to be honest, writing Let's Make Lemonade was a really big leap of faith, and it's turned out perfectly. And I think it's had its ups and downs, it's had challenges, it's had good times, and I think God put me at that place so that I can be able to inspire other people to do the same. So here is me telling you 10 things you should know when you're doing your first book. I hope that you guys will enjoy this video. Stay tuned for more of this. So hi guys, as you can see, I have a notebook with me here, and it's because having those 10 points in my mind is a bit of a hassle. So let's get on with it. Point number 1, God's assurance is enough. I don't know how I can emphasize this, you guys. I'm the kind of person who always looks for assurance from different people anytime I'm about to do something. Like, it could be a business, it could be a course at school, it could be literally anything. Most of the time, I'm usually looking for assurance from people, and I want people to gas me up and be like, yes, that's a thing, go for it, you can do this, you have all it takes. But when I was writing my first book, I don't even think I spoke to anyone about it. I think I mentioned to my different circles that I want to write a book, but they didn't take it as seriously. So for me, that was the first time, I think, in a very long time, that I actually got to do something because I knew that God is on my team. I am not going to fail. So for me, I remember at the start of 2019, I had a heaviness in my heart, and I really felt like God was calling me to do this book, but I didn't have the courage or the guts to do it. I remember since I was around 16, I've always known I'd want to be an author at some point in my life, but I really didn't know how to go about it. Like, I used to think it's something for other people, not for me. But beginning of 2019, God put it strongly in my heart that I needed to do this. I needed to put my life's experiences in a book so that it can inspire many people out there. So that was the first time that I actually did something with only God's assurance. Like, I didn't go out there asking people, do you think I should write a book? Do you think anyone will be interested in reading my book? Do you think this and this? This time around, I was like, you know what, I will go for it, and I will do it regardless of what. So first thing is, always remember that God's assurance is enough. As long as God has given you that, go ahead and do it, and I promise you, He will not let you fail at that. So yeah. Number 2, it's not rocket science, I promise you. I used to look at people who are authors, and I would think, guy, as in, how do you even write a book? Like, who does that? How do you sit down and come up with all that content to put it in a book and actually sell it out and people are interested in buying it? And when I started it, I promise you, I keep saying, when I started writing that book, after I actually heeded to God's call and was like, you know what, let me do this, I didn't stop, I think, until I was on the 5th chapter. Words was just flowing from my mind, because you see, this is something that you've experienced, not someone else's story. So you get to write so much, and you get to get shocked at how good you are at this thing. So if you have that gifting in you, if you're a writer, imagine, don't sit back and hold that back from the world. The world needs to hear your story. So remember that it's not rocket science. Just take your laptop, go to Microsoft Word, or go to Google Documents, and just start. If you don't start, you'll never know how good you are until you just do it. Number 3, never let perfectionism be an excuse. So when you even go for interviews, many people are usually, when they're asked, what's your weakness, or what's something you're not good at, they'll say, I'm a perfectionist. I think I am not sure, but I'm not an interviewer. I've never interviewed anyone, but I don't even think whether that is a weakness. I think that's a strength. If you use that to your advantage, you can do so much. And for me, I've always thought some people don't want to write these books because they're thinking, I don't have enough money to pay a publisher. I don't know what kind of topic would interest people. I don't know this, I don't know that. But the thing is, never let that be an excuse. In fact, let your perfectionism help you do the best and do the most. So if you're a perfectionist, use that to your advantage. When you're writing, make sure you edit perfectly, make sure you have a very good cover page, make sure you have an interesting prologue and synopsis. So never let that be an excuse. In fact, you should use that for your advantage. Use that to make yourself better, to make your book better, and to make it even more appealing to people out there. Number 4, be original. I cannot be able to stress this enough. For me, let me give you my personal experience. I am a reader. I read a lot. I'm always reading books. I love reading. It makes me know so much about different things. And I remember when I started reading my book, I would actually even refer to other books that I have in my home library, and I would think, this book, do you think I can get some ideas from this book that I can use in my book, or the length or the kind of language they're using, the tense they're using? But then again, after that, I thought, if I keep picking, copy pasting things from other authors, I'll never have a book that's me, and that's the worst thing that can happen. I think one of the best feedbacks I get from people who've read my books is, when I read this book, I feel like I'm talking to you one-on-one. Because when you're writing a book that people can be able to relate with you on a personal level. So for me, when I hear someone tell me like that they're reading this book and they feel like they can interact with me, or they're interacting with me one-on-one, I'm like, yes, I ticked the box that I was planning to tick. So be authentic, be original. Don't try and copy and paste what other people are doing or what other authors are doing, because that way you will lose that personal touch, and that personal touch is what people are usually going after when they want to read your book. So be authentic. Number 5, maximize on DIY. Do it yourself. Hey, guys, when I started writing my book is when I realized that I can actually be a designer, I can actually be an editor, I can actually be the best marketer, I can actually be the best event planner. As in, when I started doing my book is when I realized, imagine, I can do so much. I have so much talent in these hands. Like, I can do so much with my hands. I mean, I am the one who designed my cover page. Let me show you guys. That is my book. There you have it. Let's make lemonade. Yeah. So I was the one who designed that from scratch. I remember, I think I tried asking around some different graphic designers how much they would charge me to do that. Hey, and the prices were just like, my pockets would not allow me to do that. So I went on to Canva, www.canva.com, and I just decided to design my own cover page. I didn't think that was even possible. Like, I used to see people's covers and I'm like, hey, how do you even get to that? And imagine, your mind is the most powerful tool you have in your life. Maximize on it. So for me, I was able to design myself. I was able to, I had different designs, and then now at that point is where I would send out to my people and ask them, which one do you think would work best for my book? Which one is more interesting? Which one is more eye-catching? And then finally, I was able to come up with my design. So when you're writing a book is when you realize that you have so much talent in your hands that you've not ever exploited. So for me, that's another thing, maximize on DIY. And another way I was able to DIY was, my mom was my very first editor. Because editors, finding someone who will take your book with as much seriousness as you do is very hard. I remember I approached a couple of editors, even some who were my friends, but they would take so long to even just read through the book and give me their opinion and edit. So I figured out my mom would be my greatest cheerleader, so why not use her? And she's really good in language, so she read through my book, she helped me edit, and I was able to do the corrections and all that. So that's another way that I was able to DIY. You don't really have to go and pay an editor for you to do that. Maximize on DIY. It could go always. It could be in terms of formatting your book. It could be in terms of the the design of your book. It could be in so many ways, so maximize on that. Yeah, so number 6 is quit second guessing. Many people are usually so influenced by what people think about them that to a point whereby they let that cripple them, they let that fear cripple them, and they don't even end up doing things because they're like, what will people say? Is it good enough? Will anyone buy it? For me, when I was writing my book, my honest fear was, would anyone pay even a single bob to actually read my book? Who would be interested in my story? I'm just a young girl who's just living her life. Nobody knows me, like you have so many fears, but I promise you, as long as God is on your side, you can do anything. You have so much power, you have so much might. And for me, this book has really shown me that when God gives you a stamp, there's no place that you won't go. And even the Bible keeps reminding us that your gifts and your talents will make you dine with kings and queens. And I promise you, this has been my testimony so far. It's just been 3 months and I have had such exponential growth. I am amazed. So that's another thing. Never second guess yourself. Never let your fear cripple you. Imagine if you want to write a book, start now. And I hope this video has inspired you to do that. Don't second guess yourself. Just take your laptop and start. If you don't have a laptop, take your foolscaps, take your notebook and just start writing down, and I promise you, you will not regret that choice. Number 7, find a trustworthy printer. I think I'll do another full video about printing, the printing process in Kenya, the nitty-gritty, what you need, what you don't need. And for me, I really thank God that I found a printer that was willing to walk the journey with me. First, printing can be damn expensive in our country, but when you find a printer that you can talk to, that can understand you, one who is able to see where you're at in life in terms of finances, in terms of growth, once you get that kind of a printer, I promise you, it would be so much easier for you. It would be such an easy journey. You'll be able to easily navigate through this whole process. So that's another thing. Find a trustworthy printer. And remember, it won't be seamless. I'm not saying that because I had a good printer, it was seamless. We had ups and downs. There were times we had confrontations and all that, but eventually it turned out beautifully. So that's another thing. I'll do a video about that. The other 8th point is leverage on self-publishing. Guys, when I was done with my book, I asked around different printers. The kind of quotations I was getting were just breaking my heart. There's one who told me my book is around 100 pages, and there's one who was telling me that I'm going to pay 300,000, and I was just thinking, I am literally just starting out. Like, where am I supposed to get 300,000? And that's when and then another thing is, sorry to say this, but so many people who've been given this opportunity to do these things are not willing to talk to you or to even give you advice. Like, I remember I kept asking some people who are content creators, some who are even YouTubers, questions like, how do you get to self-publish? What's the process? And you can see someone is talking to you, yes, because they don't want to look mean, but they don't really want to give you information. They're sort of kind of selfish with their information. And this really broke my heart, because I thought, if God has really given you that opportunity to be at that place in your life, why are you selfish with your information? So that's why after I was able to succeed in my self-publishing journey, I am usually very passionate about inspiring other people. When someone asks me a question, I'll take my time to literally give them all the information I have. And that does not mean that now you become a lazy person, that actually now you ask everything. There's some things that you can find out on the internet. You don't have to keep asking people to give you advice or to give you information every other time. So what you can find on the internet, leverage on that. What you can't, ask people. And I hope that you'll get people who will be willing to walk with you that journey, and people who will be willing to share their ideas with you. So number 9, use simple and easy to understand language. I remember when I was writing my book, I would remember compositions in primary school, and I would think, you remember the way you were told to use what are they called, proverbs, metaphors, and all that. But the thing is, when you're writing a book, especially for the very first time, you need to be mindful of the language you use. Make sure your language is very easy to understand, such that someone doesn't need to come ask you, what did you mean when you wrote this paragraph? Make it so easy to understand that when someone reads your book, they will be able to flow from the top to the bottom easily without having to, check out different things. Because when especially, it depends on what kind of book you're writing. Mine was a biography as well as a inspirational book. So for that, someone needs to have the easiest time reading that, so that they don't waste time having to look for meanings of words on dictionaries, on Google, and all that. So use very simple and easy to understand language. Then finally, number 10, when you're writing a book, have the end reader in mind first. This is like marketing. When you're doing marketing, one of the pieces of marketing is people, or rather your target market. Before you bring out a product to the market, you have to research on your target market. You need to understand your buyer personas. You need to understand what they like, what they don't like, their kind of behaviors, because that way it will inspire the kind of product you bring to the market. This is the same for a book. Before you write a book, you need to be able to understand what kind of reader do you have in mind. Is it a young person? Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it an old person? Is it a business person? What kind of reader do you have? And for mine was a bit general, but it was mainly targeting ladies who've grown up with having daddy issues. And when I was writing that book, I was really speaking to ladies because, one, I am a lady, and two, mostly ladies get a lot of daddy issues and they begin to act some kind of way because they didn't have a dad growing up. So for me, that really informed the kind of language I was using. It really informed the kind of quotes I was looking for. It really informed the kind of Bible verses I used. So you need to have the end reader in mind before you even start writing. The moment you get an idea like this, write it down somewhere, and then now you start mapping out the kind of reader you have in mind. So yeah, those are the 10 things that I would want to share even more, and I think we'll have even more opportunities to speak more about this book and you being an author and my journey in Kenya so far. But so far, for a start, I think those 10 are enough. So I hope that they have inspired you. I hope that they've made you get some little bit of insurance. They've made you get a bit of assurance that, imagine whatever it is you have in your heart, as long as you have God on your side, you don't need anyone else, you don't need nothing else. Just start. And you see the Nike slogan, just do it. Imagine that if you forget, let me be like pastors, if you forget anything else I've said today, remember, just do it. Just start with whatever you have, with whatever is in your hands, with whatever is in your mind. Just start. And I promise you, after you've started, you'll be able to see that you have so much power, you have so much ability, and you have so much skill. So the next video about this will be probably my journey to my launch, and I'll show you snippets of how my launch was, and I hope that you guys will enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Let's keep it real, and let's remember to live, love, and love. And in case you've not yet done this, please subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.